We give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah Ba'Shem Yahushua this day. John 5:39, and you can swing to Numbers 31 and 1 after that. Tonight could be one of the shortest ones we've probably done in a real long time, but we're going to keep it real brief this evening. Do got a key point to hit, though. And it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. So let's look at Numbers 31 and 31. That's the thing a lot of people don't be wanting to do. Matter of fact, before we even look at Numbers 31 and 31, just for a refresher course, because that dude said that, talking about all this here, I want you to look at something. What it is, Matthew chapter, make it Mark 14, because I know I got that page in this book I got in my lap. Versus me having to reach this little 3 inches and grab this other book that I know that page is in. Just because I had this conversation and dude sounded real idiotic with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I guess I'm going to have to reach over there and grab it anyway. Make it Matthew 27 then, because it's not in Mark 14. Just so y'all can understand this thing, we done talked about speaking in tongues before, but I really don't like when dudes use that one particular verse all the time to do something. And then something coming to my mind on top of that, so I guess I'll work that in there before we go any further. Matthew chapter 27. What it is, about verse 36? No, it ain't 36. Yeah, it was about 36, but it ain't got the thing that I'm looking for. Let's see, maybe it's John 19. I'm thinking about it. What it was is, like I told y'all earlier, this dude kept pressing about, the translation of Greek with the name Jesus and it's Iosis, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and it's crazy because some of the dudes that really be pushing saying Jesus' name have Hebrew handles, and I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's John 19. My apologies, y'all. 19 and 17. You know what I'm saying? Get out of there. I already told y'all that. Go sit down. Go. Go. That is not a toy to be played upon. John 19 and 17. He said, he bearing his stake went forth into the place called, the place of the skull, which is called in our brain Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 other with him on the either side, one, and Yahushua in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put on the stake the writing was, Yahushua of Nazareth, King of the Yahudim. This the title read many of the Yahudim, for the place where Yahushua was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Abrim, Greek, and Latin. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Why would you think that they would add Greek and Latin along with this? Matter of fact, who even made the sign of the accusation that was over his head? Who even made it? Pilate. So what group of people is this? These Romans. So wouldn't it make sense for them that they would write this accusation, since they the one executing the sentence upon this man, that they would put it in the language that they speak? Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how they get it in. See, there's nothing wrong with it. See, they had an accusation in Greek and Latin. Well, last time I checked, Pilate was a Roman, you jerk. See, hold on. Look at Acts 16 and 19. Just look at this right here. It'll show you the contempt that these people had for us, right? And then what they want to clear, that's why I told him he was a slave. Because you sounded like a slave. He said, how are we a slave? I said, you know how you a slave. Make it 16 and 16. Just because I wanted to say, I was thinking about this the other day when we were going through it. See, I'm going to tell you something, man. Can't no Greek or no Latin or no Roman show you no way to salvation. I don't know, you talking about this here, talking about name just mean character and reputation. Well, what's the character and reputation of Jesus then? You sit there and you think on that. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. What is the character and reputation of Jesus? The character and reputation of Jesus is you can live how you want to live. This same young man, along with others, call themselves a Christian, got to be the dumbest thing you ever heard. For people who say they study and know truth, how could you cleave to things that were given to you? And you could get Acts 13, I think it's about 19 or 17 with that, by people who hate you. They didn't call you a Christian. They let us say Christian mean follower of Christ. No, it don't. That's what your oppressor told you. That's not where it originated from. That wasn't the creation of that. The people were mocking you and laughing at you. That was like being called a Christian is like being called a nigger now. That was a derogatory term. And it came to pass as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a ruach of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. See, now we know what soothsaying is, right? Y'all know what soothsaying is, right?
Talking smooth things.
I mean, that to a certain extent, but also it's really just dealing with, like, you know, sorcery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, soothsaying for all intents and purposes is like sorcery. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with old witch, dealing with old nasty, some wicked old stuff, but we'll pull it up and make sure in our language that's what that means. Well, no, they ain't gonna have it. They ain't got it in our language. I don't know what the Hebrew equivalent for that word to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's really dealing with little old sorcery. That's why he said she
came with a spirit of divination.
Mm-hmm.
So that means she was out here.
She was out here. You know what I'm saying? She dealing with old. She possessed with old devil. So she walk around here doing all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Probably dealing with old. Oh yeah, she was old false prophet. So when you turn around and you look at what Jesus is, right? You know what I'm saying? Authority attached to that name, he's supposed to have prophecies or divination or soothsaying that he do. These people go every Sunday and get some soothsaying from Jesus and his preachers. You know what I'm saying? Corey just put that video of this man coming up there. That's an example of soothsaying right there. He just say God worked this here, making this little boy hand match up. That is a literal example of, and he brought his masters, and those men, and they sent that, and that little boy was to bring his masters much gain from what they were doing. Y'all done seen the people line up with that fake healing stuff, and them people throw the money at the man doing that. That's an example of soothsaying. You know what I'm saying? Having the spirit of divination coming up there telling lies. Huh?
And that little boy was pissed, but he was highly upset. What was going on, bro? He knew they was faking.
Of course he knew they were faking. I done seen little stuff, you know, Dateline NBC used to do a little stuff. You know, exposing them people, talking about somebody got healed with cancer, they would die 90 days later. You know what I'm saying? But they be playing with people. This is the authority that's attached to Jesus now. If we going to be real with it, let's just going to be real with it. I don't care. It has nothing to do with let's bash the name Jesus or let's bash Christian people. Let's just deal with the reality of the situation. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Let's look at the next thing you say, right? The same followed Shaul, and us cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High Elohim, which show unto us the way of salvation. So I will keep y'all in mind, right? The evil spirit that was in this woman, she knew who Paul and war. They say that they will show us the way to salvation. Jesus ain't showing you nothing but the way how to go to hell. If we gonna be real with it, there's no salvation or power or authority attached to that name because of the doctrine and authority that's attached to the name. That's common sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the character of Jesus is not the character of the man that's in this book. The dude say, well, why you deal with Hebrew? Our people don't speak Hebrew. You speak English. Silly nigga, you know why we speak English, nigga.
What he did was, he was like, no, see, they say Yahweh Shai died and rose on the Saturday, see?
Yeah.
That's why we don't rock with him. We rock with Jesus. I'm like, oh, man, this is your reasoning?
That's dumb. And he know we don't rock with that, so what's your point? Because I done talked to him about this. Straight direct. I was just talking to a brother. Brother told me his homeboy didn't want to talk to me about the word because he said I would persuade him not to believe what he believed no more. So I'm taking that as you know what I'm saying is right and you just don't want to hear it.
You withholding the truth.
Yeah, that's bad for business there. You'd rather stay with the comfortable lie. Listen what it say now. And this did she did many days, but Shaul being grieved turned and said to that Ruach, I command thee in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach to come out of her. And he came out the same hour. And when our masters saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Shaul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers. Don't you realize that people always get mad when somebody walk in them churches, man, and mess their money up? They got to get them up out of there. They get them up out of there. You messing with our money. Listen to what these men told them. They brought them to the magistrate, saying, these men being Yahudim do exceedingly trouble our city and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. That man say they teach some laws and customs. Man, we don't do that stuff. So you mean to tell me you think them people going to put that up there? You think them people going to really care about telling you this man named Yahusha or Yahusha, however you pronounce it? When they say y'all laws and customs, they didn't even lawful for us to keep them. Look at something in Esther, the 3rd chapter. So why would these people want you speaking your language? And you know the word part is, right? And get Zephaniah 3 and 9. Because it just came to my mind. I would think about it earlier today, and then it just hit my mind as I was sitting here. But look at Esther 3 and 8 real fast. Some of the stuff people say just don't be making no sense. Like, it just don't make no sense. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand the rationale of where he's coming from. Let me use my book. I know this. That's why it take me a long time to switch to using another book. If after I've been using a particular one for a long time, it take too long. Ezra 3 and 7 though. It say in the 1st month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Xerxes, they cast Pur. That is the lot, both Haman from day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Xerxes, there's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. Their laws are diverse from all people. They are different. These people are different. The same thing they say in Acts, these people are different. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. He said it ain't no gain for the king to even keep these people around. Same thing they were looking at Paul and Silas by. It's not even our gain to keep them around because they going to mess with the money. They going to mess with everything. Now, while, again, turning around, knowing that they wrote this thing in Hebrew and Greek and in Latin. They did that for their own people. They didn't do that for us. We were in the land at the time. We weren't speaking Greek and Latin. Those people there weren't scattered abroad. That wasn't for them to read. They weren't speaking that. And also, as we dealt with even them sliding that Aramaic in there in the text, we know that obviously why they didn't put it up there in Aramaic, because our people probably wasn't speaking that neither. You know what I'm saying? But let's come around at that particular time. Let's come around and look at this Zephaniah 3 and 9. This is what was coming to my head earlier when I was, but I just ain't hit little buddy with it. I just let him live. Zephaniah 3 and 9. And it says, for then I will turn the people, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahuwah to serve him with one consent. Now what would come into my mind was this. When we look at a lot of these people's foreign languages, regardless of whatever language that you want to put it to be, they intersperse their pagan gods in it. You know what I'm saying? And they do it quite regularly. You know what I'm saying? Take for example, the word chronology or chronograph or all that there. They intersperse the Greek god Chronos into that particular speaking. You know what I'm saying? That's just one that's coming to the top of my head right now. If anybody got others that's coming to their head, they can go ahead. Even looking at the word liberty or the word cereal. Those words, they sprinkle their gods in it. You know what I'm saying? Not just talking about like how people say, oh, see, Lord means Baal. No, let's just go past that because that's too simple. There are other regular mundane words that people use on a day in, day out basis where these people drop. Huh?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, the days of the week. You know what I'm saying? They drop their gods in it. They drop their gods in it. You know what I'm saying? This is what they done. So when he say turn you back to a pure language, when he turn you back to the language that he speaks, you know, when you're looking at purity, you talking about cleanliness. There are no idolatrous gods in the Abrim language at all. All the language does, all the characters does in that alphabet is bear witness of the Father and the Son. That's it. They bear witness of the true and living Elohim. That's why he said, I'll turn, you can't call on me with one consent with the name of other gods in your mouth. See, look at Exodus 23 and 13. And then we'll look at Isaiah 28 and 11. Like I seen a brother say, it don't matter what you immerse people, name you immerse them in. That's sad. You know what I'm saying? No, I done told people all the time, like, hey man, I'm not going to go off on you in the midst of no conversation with you saying the name Jesus. Like, I'm not going to be focusing on that while we're having the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I would tell you like, hey, I wouldn't pray in that name. I wouldn't get immersed in that name. You know what I'm saying? But I sit there and talk to you about it though. I'm not going to say, see, you keep using that pagan God's name. I'm not going to go through all that. Conversation's not going to proceed. All they're going to notice is he ain't saying Jesus. Who is that and why he said it? And then you tell him and you keep on going. 23 and 13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. This is why he say he got to turn you to a pure language, because these people have put their gods in your mouth in just regular mundane words. Even with some of the months, they slid their gods in them. You know what I'm saying? That's how they kick their game. And when you look at most other languages, idolatrous gods are sprinkled into their names. Now I can't speak on other languages, but I can speak on English though. You know what I'm saying? And we have to sit back and look at that. And that's why they will promote to you and push to you to stay sticking with the name Jesus. And it's always crazy to me how Hebrews love to stick with it. Isaiah 28:11. And that's another reason what turned people away from the book, because when they hear the name Jesus, they're not going to associate that with nothing that's written in this text. They're going to associate that with white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? When I hear the name Jesus, I think of white supremacy. Period. You know what I'm saying? You hear Jesus, you see Caesar Borgia, you see this blonde-haired, blue-eyed homosexual, and that's white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And any person of color, after a period of time, if you are still cool with things that are attached to white supremacy, then yeah, you're a slave. 28:9. I mean, that's how I see it. I've always been against white supremacy. I'm not on that. We live in a society that promotes and pushes white supremacy down our throat every single day. And you want me to continue to follow that and hold to that? I reject that deposit. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will I speak to this people. He said he'll do it. So I don't know where they get using the name Jesus or reading the book in Greek. I don't know how they line that up with that, because that's not book. He said, I will speak to this people in another tongue. He said, I will do it. He said, and another tongue will he speak to this people. This man is referring to Yahuwah. He said, surely Yahuwah do nothing, but he revealed his secret to his servants, the prophet. So it's just like this here. It's Yahuwah talking, but it's a man talking. You know what I'm saying? But it's Yahuwah's word. Nevertheless, that man just a vessel. So let's look at 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Well, y'all already remember from the law, you know why he said you got to have an interpreter. And Genesis 42, when Joseph was like, hey man, there was an interpreter around because they couldn't understand what was being said. These dudes quick to say this here in another tongue. Well then nigga, you dead wrong, nigga, because can't nobody read or speak Greek either, and you trying to go through that there, so you wrong, nigga, ain't no interpreter, so you going to hell for breaking that law then. Since they like to play that game. 1 Corinthians 14 and 13. And it says, wherefore let him that speak in an unknown tongue pray that he may interpret. For if I pray in an unknown tongue, my ruach pray, but my understanding is unfruitful. What is it then? I will pray with the ruach and will pray with understanding also. I will sing with the ruach. I will sing with understanding also. Oh man, I guess I'm going to go ahead. He said he'll sing with understanding also. I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's going to end up going in a different track than what I intended. We had some dudes. Remember we heard them dudes on that thing say David wasn't no prophet. He just sung songs. I'm going to show y'all something too. I'm going to show you how stupid he... Oh, no, that ain't even what it was. It just really brought to my mind something that I already had on deck for that. But that is a part of that. He said, I will sing with understanding. Now, we know what understanding is. He said, I know the Son of Elohim is come and give us an understanding that we may know him that is true and that we are in him that is true. And this is the true in Elohim and eternal life. You know what I'm saying? What did the master do in Luke 24 and 44? These are the things written in the Torah of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. And he opened their understanding that they might understand the scriptures, right? And Revelation 19 and 10 says what? The testimony of Yahushua is the ruach of prophecy, or the spirit or foretelling of things to come. So if Paul is telling you, I sing with understanding, that means he sings with the doctrine of the Son. We know sing, telahim, song. That's what David did. He said he sing with understanding. We'll see it back. Just give me a second. I'm going to run it all the way down. I'm going to show you how dumb people can be. I ain't had intended on doing it, but praise Yahuwah. That's how it's going down this evening. Don't even worry about Numbers 31 right now. He said, else when thou shalt baruch with the ruach, how shall he that occupy the room of the unlearned say, so be it at the giving of thanks, seeing he understand not what thou say? For thou truly give thanks well, but the other is not edified. I thank my Elohim, I speak with tongues more than you all. Yet in the house I'd rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. Brethren, be not children in understanding, howbeit in malice be ye children, but in understanding be men. In the Torah it is written, when men of other tongues, hold on, because my page written up. That man say in the Torah, but where we just read that out of, y'all? He said in the Torah, that's what he said, but where did we read that out of? So guess what that means? That was an instruction then. So that means the law ain't just regulated to Genesis to Deuteronomy. Right here in verse 21 again. In the Torah it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto this people, yet for all that they will not hear me, saith Yahuwah. Wherefore tongues are for a sign not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying serve not for them which believe not, but for them which believe. So the whole purpose of speaking in tongue is not for people who believe, but for people who don't believe. So let's go to Acts chapter 2 with the fulfillment of Isaiah 28. He say, for all that, they still won't hear me. This man Peter, we don't know how many people were out there when Peter was preaching. Only 3,000 got saved though. Can you remember what he said now? He said, I'd rather sing with understanding. After we read Acts chapter 2, get 1 Chronicles 25. I wish I had the board. See, I wanted to wait till I had the board behind me, though, for this right here, but Yahuwah's will be done. Acts chapter 2, right? Verse 4. Acts chapter 2 and verse 4. Acts chapter 2 and verse 4. And they were all filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and began to speak with other tongues as the Ruach gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem, Yahudim, devout men out of every nation under Shamayim. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And now hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born. Parthians and Medes and Elamites and dwellers in Mesopotamia and Judea and Cappadocia and Pontus and Asia and Phrygia and Pamphylia and Egypt and parts of Libya about Cyrene, strangers of Rome, Yahudim and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of Elohim. What is the wonderful work of Elohim? Well, let's look in let's just look at Acts 13 and 41, about 37. Hello? Hello? Acts 13 and 37. Make it 35. Wherefore he saith in another song. So this is another song. He say David wasn't no prophet though. Paul just said in 1 Corinthians 14, he'd rather sing with understanding. Hold on, right? Let me finish this here and then I'll show you something. Wherefore he saith also in another song, thou shalt not suffer thy Kadesh one to see corruption. For Daoud, after he served his own generation by the will of Elohim, fell on asleep and was laid unto his fathers and saw corruption. But he whom Elohim raised again saw no corruption. Now I want y'all to come to Proverbs chapter 1. Because this man said David wasn't no prophet. He said them were just songs. So he don't know why y'all calling David a prophet. Paul just said I sung. I'd rather sing with understanding. So that Proverbs 1. Still hold 1 Chronicles 25. Yahuwah will be around there real soon. Proverbs 1 and 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Yasharal, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. He say to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity. To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. So when this man say he would rather sing with it, understanding, he is trying to reveal and give to you the understanding of a dark saying or a prophecy or a parable. See, when you look at Psalm 78, right? You ain't got to go get it though. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. When you look at Psalm 78, right? This man talk about how he say he will utter parables of old. He'll open his mouth and he'll utter dark sayings of old. And if you remember when it say about the preacher, that's a Qoheleth, and those are a arranger of sentences. See, get this Mark 13 and 52. I mean Matthew 13 and 52. Matthew 13 and 52. We'll come right back to Acts chapter 13. Matthew 13 and 52. But make it 50. Matthew 13 and 50. This goes right along to what we were talking about the other day when he say, I will give you pastors that will feed you with knowledge and understanding. They have to be able to organize. Well, 13:51. They have to be able to organize the sentences. And Paul just said that he would rather sing a song. He would rather tell a hymn in understanding than to speak in an unknown tongue. This is what he said he'd rather do now. This man say David didn't prophesy. He wasn't no prophet. He just wrote songs. He just wrote songs. That's all he did. He wasn't no prophet though. Yahushua saith unto them, have you understood all these things? They say unto him, yea, master. Then saith he unto them, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a man that is a householder, which bring forth out of his treasure things new and old. That means every teacher of the word that's instructed into eternal life will be able to arrange these dark sayings that you might understand them. See, the master say, he say, not in one word did he not speak in a parable that they might not understand. What is that? Matthew 13, at the top of Matthew 13? Let me see if that's the top of Matthew 13, what I'm thinking about. Let me see if that's where it's at. Matthew 13 and 9. This is what he told them. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speak thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Shamahim, but to them it is not given. For whosoever have, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever have not from him shall be taken away, even that he have. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Yeshayahu, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and I should stand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. See, this is why he say that's why he has these dark sayings, and it's not necessarily geared for everyone to hear it and catch it. He said it's not given unto them to know. Well, why wouldn't it be given unto them not to know? Because we've dealt with this in many instances. Some people are ordained for damnation. Their vessels made unto destruction. Like he told Pharaoh, for this very cause have I raised you up, that I might show my power in thee. You know what I'm saying? So when you have men that are very ignorant of what the word says. So therefore they say a lot of things that are not accurate. And then because they say these things, it could damn people. Come on back over here to Acts chapter 13. Then he get Ezekiel 33. This just come to my mind after this Acts 13. And then most high willing, we swing and look at this First Chronicles 25. This man say, I'd rather Talahim in understanding. We done dealt with understanding so many ways and so many different fashions. And just recently, not too long ago, that understanding is very vital. Without understanding, you are worthy of death. So we knowing that understanding is knowing who the Son is and the plan of salvation through him. Therefore, through that, you know Abba Yahuwah. Without understanding, you don't know your Elohim. So therefore, if you don't know your Elohim, there's no way that you can be saved. There's no way that you could get the Ruach. A brother was talking about this here when a brother like, hey, fringes and head wraps don't make you righteous. And they don't. And the brother was like, oh, the brother say, see, it's the law that keep us in the Ruach. No, the law don't keep you in the Ruach. The Ruach keep you in the law. You can have the law and don't have no Ruach. Just because you keeping commandments don't mean you believe. Many of y'all know people who've kept commandments and in the end, it was manifested. They really didn't believe. And they wonder why they didn't gain and get the benefit and profit of the word, because they thought it was just the works that you were doing alone was going to be your justification, when the whole time you never believed in Yahuwah. You never trusted him. Your hope was not set in him. Therefore, it's only but a set time you're going to keep this word before you turn away backwards. He said, he said, this people show much love with their mouth and with their lips. They do honor me, but the heart is removed far from me, for it go after their lusts. The heart of these people go after the things that they desire. How can your heart be knit with Yahuwah when your mind is always cut on fulfilling your lust? This one thing the majority of these people don't lust after, and that's the righteousness of faith, like your father Abraham. It's not many of our people that lust after that. It's not many of our people that have a desire for that. Because all lust is a strong desire. How many of our people really have a strong desire for salvation and righteousness? Not many. How many of our people really have a strong desire for Kadesh, clean living? Not many. How many of our people have a strong desire to cleave unto Yahuwah even unto death? Not many. Acts 13 and 38. Matter of fact, I'm going to read 35 and then we're going to actually go look at the song that they're quoting, so we can see about singing with understanding, because I would be remiss if I did not do that. And that is Psalm 16. That is Psalm 16. And still holds you 1 Chronicles 25. It's a conclusion to what we're looking at. Matter of fact, back it up all the way to 33. Just back it all the way up to 33. I would be remiss if we didn't do that before we went and read 1 Chronicles 25. Because this man said David was not a prophet. Now, if we by ascertain that this man is saying that these things are prophecies, and we manifest how these things are prophecies, and he say he would sing with understanding, therefore he would be singing or preaching the word, and we're going to look at Ezekiel 33 as well, and we see him say the same thing to Ezekiel, somebody going to hell. Elohim have fulfilled the same unto us, their children, and that he have raised up Yahusha again, as it is also written in the second Talahim, the second Psalm, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Psalms 2 and 7. We might look at the whole Psalm. It ain't that long. Psalms chapter 2, the second division of Talahim, the second division of Psalm. Let's look at this Psalm. And let's see if he's giving a prophecy. Or is he just singing? Well, I don't know why David would. Is he talking about Solomon? Who is he talking about? Let's look at verse 1. He say, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a worthless thing, a vain thing? The kings of the Arats have set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahuwah and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in Shamahim shall laugh, Yahuwah shall have them in derision. Then he shall speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Now let's sit back and let's look at something. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3. It would be helpful if I was in 1 Corinthians and not 2nd, and then maybe we could get Sunday comes. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3. He said, I was with you in weakness and in fear and in trembling. We got to drop down a little lower than that. Verse 7. I'm going to make sure that's what I need. Yep, about verse 7. But we'll read about verse 5. Matter of fact, we'll just do 4 then. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of men's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Ruach and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Elohim. That's the biggest problem with these people right here, that our faith stands in the wisdom of men and not the power of Elohim. The power of Elohim is the death and resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's where your faith should rest at. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of Elohim in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Elohim ordained before the world unto our esteem. You see, that's them parables. It ain't meant for them to know. That's them dark saying that mystery is not meant for you to know. You know, that's the same thing that when the apostles asked the master, well, at this time when you restore the kingdom to Yahshua, he said, it's not for you to know the times and seasons of the Father. Just go do what I told you to do. You know what I'm saying? That's some of people's biggest problem. They feel like they're supposed to know any and everything. Some things ain't for you to know. You know what I'm saying? And when you have a mind, you feel like you're supposed to know any and everything, Yahuwah just won't let you know nothing. But remember what David told you, I don't exercise myself in matters too high for me. I know I don't. It's something above my pay grade. I'm straight. I don't go around worrying about this, that, there, and the third. That's what a lot of people problem is. Get above your pay grade. I know my place. I'm going to stay in it. He want me to know, he'll let me know it. If not, it ain't for me to know. But I know what he done gave me to know. I'm going to take full advantage of that and use it to save my soul. Everything you don't need to know. I truth be told, if this man let us know every single solitary thing, most people would fall out and die. When he was showing Daniel the vision, man, Daniel's heart stopped. Man said my heart stood still in my chest. Man said I was froze. So I was terrified. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that what it said? Y'all go look at Daniel chapter 9, see for yourself. Chapter 10, see for yourself. That man said, boy, he went to showing Daniel that stuff. Boy, Daniel said, boy, my heart stood still. I was terrified. I'm going to just tell you what the verse is so nobody don't think I'm lying. I know people be like, boy, he just saying that there. Right there in verse 8, that man said, I was left alone. I ain't had no more strength in me. My comeliness turned into corruption. I retain no strength. That man say, my good looks turned to death. Off a vision. And all he seen was a vision of a Mashiach coming back. That's what he saw. Man fell down on his face. That Malachi had to tell the man, get up, man. You all right? Man said he became dumb. He couldn't even talk. You know what I'm saying? You really, I'm talking about, boy, if a Malachi came to you and showed you everything that you had to show, man, y'all fall out and die. Number one, you're going to be terrified when you see this Malachi. Don't let nobody tell you you're just going to be like it is on TV. You see an angel and you're like, oh, man, this is great. Or you're going to be scared. I don't see dudes like, oh, I see a demon. This is what I'm going to do. No, you're going to be scared. Because you don't see this every day. You know what I'm saying? That's not a normal event. You see a Malachim and their terribleness and their awesomeness, oh, you going to be scared. Then you get a vision of things you ain't never seen. And on top of that, you might not understand the vision. Oh, man, you might be ready to die. He said, which none of the princes of this world knew, for they had known it, they would have not have crucified the master of esteem. He said, if they would have known what this book said, they would have even killed the man. Come back to Psalm chapter 2. Y'all already know what that is. The kings of the earth. You know what king that was? Go look at Luke 23. You ain't got to go get it. Look who was there when he got killed. Herod was there. Who was up on him? The governor. Pilate. That's the rulers of this earth. They would have running the whole earth or the whole known common world at that time. And they say the rulers of the people took counsel together against Yahuwah and his anointed, saying, you know what that is. John chapter 11. Scribes and Pharisees sat down and had a council and say, man, if we don't leave this man alone, the Romans going to take away our place in nation. We got to kill him. That's a prophecy. This ain't no song. This ain't let me sing. When this man say, I will speak unto them in his wrath, he shall speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. That's Yeshayahu chapter 11 and in Revelation 19 when he say he coming with a sword of his mouth. And the word of Elohim is sharper than a two-edged sword. So this man going to speak the word of Elohim to execute wrath upon man's head in his sore displeasure. This is just not no random, just, oh, let me sing a song. Why would he be singing a song talking about he? Who is he talking? Who is the he who he talking about? Verse 6 though. Yea, I've set my king upon my Kadesh hill in Zion. Well, y'all know what hill that is. They put him on the stake to set apart. This man was set apart all unto himself. The just Yahuwah in the midst, right there in between the stake, set upon this high hill in Zion, above all the people. Look at verse 7. And I will declare the decree, Yahuwah have said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. When was he begotten to be the son of Elohim? When did it happen? Huh?
When he got emerged?
No.
When he rose.
When he rose. Remember, we just looked at that in Romans 1 the other day. He was declared to be the son of Elohim with power. That's Romans 1 and 3. By the resurrection of the dead and the Ruach HaKodesh. He declared a decree right here. This is what Paul was talking about with the man resurrection. Who is he talking about this day? He wasn't talking about Solomon. Look at Colossians chapter 1 and verse 18. And then come back to Acts 13. Colossians 1 and 18. And he is the head of the body, the house, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence. I mean, he's the first begotten. He's the firstborn son of Yahuwah, either way it goes. Say, this day you are my son, I have begotten. He said, the Ruach of him that raised up Yahushua from the dead being you, that he will quicken your mortal bodies together with him. So this ain't just no song. He just prophesied about something. Somebody was going to be declared by Yahuwah to be his son. See, that was Solomon. He ain't never told Solomon, this day you are my son, I've begotten you. Look at Hebrews 1 and 4. Hebrews 1 and 4. If I can get around there, maybe we can get something going. He says, being so made so much better than the Malachim, as he have by an inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. For unto which of the Malachim said he at any time, thou art my son, and this day have I begotten thee. And again I will be unto him a father, and he shall be to me a son. And again when he bring in the first begotten into the world, he saith, and let all the Malachim of Elohim worship him. And of the Malachim he saith, who make his Malachim ruachs, and his ministers a flame of fire. But unto the Son he saith, thy throne, O Elohim, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou love righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore Elohim, even thy Elohim, have anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. Now he's quoting Psalm 45, my apologies. He's quoting Psalm 45. So you think David just saying something? He is manifesting a prophecy. This man just sat back and said, you love righteousness and hate iniquity. This man just sat back and said, he have anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. He is the master of masters and king of kings, the first begotten of the dead, that in all things he might have preeminent. That's why in Yeshayahu 14, he said, I will set my throne, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will raise my throne above the Malachim of Elohim, because Yahushua is greater than them. He is greater than them. He's the son of the living Elohim. He is greater than them. Come back to Acts 13. I gotta crank it up a notch. Yeah. Praise Yahuwah for the word. Where we at? Acts 13, verse 34. We got to take a look in Psalm 16. I'm going to have to paraphrase most of it though. But I'm going to tell y'all where the stuff at, though. Verse 34, Acts 13. And as a concerning he that raised him up from the dead, not no more to return to corruption, he saith, on this wise, I will give you the sure mercies of David. Now, he just quoted Isaiah 55. Probably about verse 5 or 6, maybe verse 4. That's what he just quoted just now. So when he say, ho, come unto everyone to the waters, buy. Drink milk and wine without price. Wherefore he saith also in another song, thou shalt not suffer thy Kadesh one to see corruption. For David, after he served his own generation by the will of Elohim, fell on asleep, and was laid unto his fathers, and saw no corruption. But he whom Elohim raised again saw corruption for David. My apologies. Be it known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins. And by him that believe are justified from all things which you could not be justified by the Torah of Moses. This is different what we talking about. Through the blood of Mashiach, that's where the forgiveness of sin, that's where the repentance come in at. See, I had a little sunset to the side. I ain't going to hit it tonight. Brother sent me the picture of a brother saying, oh, did you have sex with him? I can't take you back because you defiled. He was using Deuteronomy 24, where it says if a man divorces a woman and she go lays and marries, well, not lays, but marries another man, she cannot go back to her first husband, or the land would be defiled. This wasn't, he talking about, see, you can't take your ex back. That's not what he was talking about, because that's thinking in straight worldly, fleshly terms. This man was talking about if you married a woman and she went and married another man, you couldn't take her back. Which was all pointing to that Yahuwah couldn't take Yasharal back because he had divorced us, we went and laid with other gods. So what he had to do is he had to come up with a plan to bring his banished back. Because according to his own law, he couldn't take you back. But we'll deal with that another day. Let's look at, let me finish this right here. Beware therefore, lest that come unto you which is spoken of in the prophets. Behold, ye despisers, and wonder and perish. For I work a work in your days, a work which ye shall no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. So though a man sing this word unto you, you still won't believe. Let's look at Psalm 16, where he will quote. And then we'll go to Ezekiel 33. And then 1 Chronicles 25. Psalm 16 and 1. Let's just look at what he will quote. It ain't that many verses. Preserve me, O Elohim, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, thou hast said unto Yahuwah, thou art my master, my goodness extend not to thee, but to the Kadeshim that are in their rats, and to the excellent, in whom is all my delight. Do you see how his soul say, thou art my master, my goodness extend not to thee, but to the Kadeshim that are in their rats? This is why the master say, I don't pray for them. See, I don't pray for the world. I pray for those whom you've given me out of the world. I pray for my sanctified one. They belong to me. And he say, and to the excellent in whom is all my delight. Now, when you turn around and you look at Genesis 49 and 1, where it say, you know, that Reuben was the excellency of his strength, or the firstborn. Same thing it tell you in the law in Deuteronomy about how the firstborn male is the excellency of a man's strength. This is referring to Yahushua and how we must become firstborn sons in him by putting him on. This is what his resurrection be able to brought up to be. That's why he said that your faith don't stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Elohim. He said he has given you power to become the sons of Elohim, not by the will of the flesh, not by the will of man, but by Elohim. Therefore, you would be the excellency in the earth because you would be as Yahushua is. He said, as he was, so are we in the present world. This is what the Apostle John told us. Listen to what he said. Their sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. Again, you being told, man, keep them false gods' name out your mouth. Now, that's another witness. This man just sat back and said that the sorrows of those that hasten after another God will be multiplied. Do you not realize? Don't y'all come in here with that. Don't y'all realize you around here dealing with Jesus, you dealing with another God? You're dealing with another God. You're dealing with another mighty one. You're dealing with another power. I don't care that you try to switch it up and say, well, we're dealing with the true doctrine. You're not dealing with no true doctrine. Jesus' birthday is December 25th. You cannot change that. If we were to go to 100 people and say, when was Jesus born? When you mention, what do you know about Jesus? December 25th is going to come out probably 85% of them people's mouths. Out of 100 people, 85 of them are going to mention that in Easter. That's idolatry. Yahuwah is the portion of thine inheritance, and of my cup thou maintain my lot. Thy lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places, yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless you who have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. Now let's sit back and look at what this means about his reins being instructed in the night season. And when you're looking at a goodly heritage, that's talking about getting the blessing of the firstborn. I don't have the time to go through that right now. I really wish I did, but I don't. I'm going to have to revisit it. Yahuwah willing, I'm going to revisit that. And if I sit here and hit the right thing, I can pull this word about him telling you how he will instruct his reins in the night season. Y'all stop. Stop. When we look at the word reins, right? It's kilyah, and that's your kidneys, or the seat of your emotions, right? And you're in the night seasons. So when we look at night seasons, it's this night as opposed to day, or of gloom, or a protective shadow. Now, let's look at something in Luke chapter 24 real fast. Just hold this Psalm 16. But he instructed his reins in the night season. Well, he tried his reins in the night season. The seat of your emotions over your heart. Remember, he hit Yahusha in his side. Where the kidneys was, which is the choice and best part. Taking the fat of the sacrifice, out come blood and water, or the ruach, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. He that believe on me, as the scripture has said. So let's just look at something in Luke 24. Luke chapter 24. And about verse 29. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it, and brake and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, Did not our heart burn within us when he talked with us by the way, while he opened to us the scriptures? Now, don't we see here in Psalm 16, he say, My reins also instruct me in the night season. Now, he's talking about the seat of your emotions. He's talking about at nighttime, or in gloom, or protected shadow. See, before when he came up, he told them, ought not Mashiach had suffered to enter into his scene? And he say, starting at the law of Moses and the prophets, he expounded unto them all the things in the scriptures concerning himself, because they told him to stay with him. It was getting late. It was getting dark. The day is far spent. Now, he's just sat down with them in the night season and instructed them out of the seat of their emotion and their heart, because they say, our heart is burning within us. The seat of my emotions, the seat of my heart, my thoughts is burning within us when he opened up the book. When you hear the testimony of Mashiach, does your heart burn like the apostles burned? It said their heart burned with him when they went to hearing this here. He said when they heard it, they knew him. They knew him. Because he had to instruct them in the night season. Come on back to Psalm 16. Verse 8, right? I have set Yahuwah always before me, because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my esteem rejoice. My flesh also rests in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in Sheol or the grave, neither will thou suffer thy Kadesh one to see corruption. We know, the master kept telling, The master kept telling these people he would raise on the third day now. He kept telling the people that. He told them that in Matthew 16. He told them that in Matthew 20. He told them that in John chapter 2. Destroy this temple, I'll rear it up again in 3 days. He said, I know he's not going to suffer me to see corruption. And guess what he told you? John 11:25. Just look what he told you now. He's singing a psalm, or is he just singing, or is he prophesying? Sound like to me, he prophesying. Who would the Kadesh one? He say in Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13, while y'all getting John, right? 11 and 25, right? And Proverbs 9 and 13, right? Listen what this man tell you. You ain't got to go get it. I'm just reading to you, let you know where it's at. Proverbs 9 and 13, 9 and 10 actually. It says the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Kadesh is understanding. He sit back and look at the knowledge of the set apart one, like he told you in Revelation chapter 3. Yahushua say, I am he that is Kadesh. That's understanding. When you know Yahushua, that gives you understanding. Paul said, I'd rather sing with understanding. I'd rather sing to you about the Son. Therefore, when you know the Son, you understand salvation. Therefore, you can be healed. He said, lest they understand with their hearts and they should be converted, and I healed them. How else you going to be healed with the Son? We talked about that in Jeremiah 33. He said, he's the health and the cure. He said, I will reveal the abundance of shalom and truth unto you if you believe and allow that health and cure to come in under you. See, the law can't heal you and it can't cure you. It's the blood of the Lamb that's going to heal and cure you. It's going to bound up all your wounds that can't be modified. Because once you hear of him, then you would obey him, because you would repent and turn from all your wicked ways. You would do just like the man said. Repent, for the kingdom of Shamahim is at hand. John 11 and 25. Let me get this. Oh, I'm sorry. And it says, Yahushua saith unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believe in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Whosoever live and believe in me shall never die. Believe thou this? That means your flesh should rest in hope, because he won't sever his set apart one to see corruption. Because when you dwell in Yahushua and Yahushua dwell in you, you just like him. Matter of fact, 1 John 2 and 25. Thank y'all for the word. I don't know what these dudes be talking about. They need to go sit down somewhere. 1 John 2 and 25. Make it about 28. And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence and be not ashamed before him at his coming. If you know that he is righteous, you know that everyone that do righteousness is born of him. He say, put you on Yahushua HaMashiach and make no provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Therefore, you would become him. So you would be his set apart one, because you would be in his set apart one, because we are members of his body in particular. And you would have the same mind that he had, knowing that your flesh would rest in hope. This man would not cause you to see corruption. That's why Paul told you, he said, we are not those that have not hope like others. We have a hope. You can't see the resurrection of the dead, therefore you wait for it. Ezekiel 33 and 30. Praise y'all for the word. The word is great. It's outstanding. Utterly magnificent. Ezekiel 33 and 30. Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that come forth from you. And they come unto thee as the people come, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart go after their covetousness. And lo, thou unto them as a very lovely song of one that have a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument. For they hear their words, but they do them not. Now, Telahim is not the word for song here. I think it's Shair, and that means lyric. And when this come to pass, lo, it will come. Then they shall know that a prophet hath been among them. This man just sat back and say, a man's voice going to sound like a lovely song, like he playing it on an instrument, and they going to know that a prophet was there. 1 Chronicles 25. First Chronicles 25 and 1. Because I want to sit back and look at an instruction that David gives that he tell these men to do. Because he say David wasn't no prophet. I just need to read something right here in 1 Chronicles 25. I have no idea what it's going to say. I have no idea what it could possibly mean. I don't know. You know, I ain't the sharpest knife in the box. Moreover, Daud and the captains of the host separated to the service of the sons of Asaph and Heman and Jeduthun, who should prophesy with harps and psalteries and with cymbals. And the number of the workmen was according to their service was. This man just told them that they should prophesy with harps, psalteries, and cymbals. How could they prophesy with harps, psalteries, and cymbals? Well, let's just look at what the word prophecy. So prophecy, we sit back as Navah, that literally means to prophesy, to be under the influence of a divine ruach. That's literally what that means. He told them that, of course it's going to tell, I want to spell these words out. And most high willing, I will do that when everybody is present. Because when we look at harps, it's generally going to say a lyre or a harp. You know, it's going to say cymbal. He told them to prophesy with an instrument. But isn't that funny that we just read what he said Ezekiel's voice was like an instrument that spoke a very lovely song? Let's see what else he told them. And of Jeduthun, the sons of Jeduthun, Gedaliah and Zariah and Yeshaiah and Hashabiah and Matthiah, 6, under the hands of their father Jeduthun, who prophesied with the harp to give thanks and to praise Yahuwah. Of Heman, the sons of Heman, Bechiah and Mattaniah and Uziel and Shabol and Yeremoth and Hananiah and Hanai and Elathia and Gedalti and Romai Ezer and Josabath and Melathai and Hathor and Mazahoth. And they were the sons of Heman, the king's seer, and the words of Elohim to lift up the horn. And Elohim gave to Heman 14 sons and 3 daughters. All these were under the hands of their father for a song in the house of Yahuwah, with cymbals and psalteries and harps for the service of the house of Elohim, according to the king's order to Esab, Jadath, and Heman. And we're going to deal with this here more in depthly, because he said they was for the service of the house of Elohim, that these men were to prophesy on psalteries, harps, and cymbals. He just compared Ezekiel's voice to an instrument of a lovely song, and he said these people going to hear these words, and they're not going to do them, and when they hear them, they're going to know there was a prophet there. The same way you seen David playing on that harp to get that evil ruach up out of Saul. And it's the same way to show you that prophesying in the word, prophesying with the word is what removes evil ruachs out of man's heart. Y'all do know that, right? You know the word get that stuff about you, right? Now let's see what I was thinking about, what I was finna hit. Now I lost my train of thought. Ephesians 4 and 14. I'm going to pause it right there till we can get these words out here and spell them all the way out in Hebrew, and you can really see what they're talking about with these harps, these psalteries, and these cymbals. Because he told them to prophesy with these instruments. Do y'all really think an instrument can prophesy? All you got to do is sit back and think, what do cymbals, psalteries, and harps do? They give out a sound. In Psalms 19, he said a sound went out from one end of the earth to the other. That means the word went out. So for them to say that David wasn't prophesying, it's an idiotic statement when we see David telling those who in the service of the house of Elohim to give thanks and to praise the Elohim, to prophesy with instruments. Prophecy is for those that believe. That's what we just read in 1 Corinthians 14. Prophecy is for those that believe. So we see that this really is not talking to us about manifesting the sound of an instrument. Not in the least bit. Ephesians 4 and 14. Probably about 4 and 10 though. I don't think I have that page in this book. I do not. I'm going to switch. I'm going to stop it right there though. After this right here. We can call it a day right there. And y'all willing, we'll just pick it up on the Shabbat. He spare our souls. About 4 and 10. I'll read 4 and 8 though. Matter of fact, I'll read 4 and 6. One Elohim and Abba of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one is given favor according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. And also keep in point that that's King David appointing these men to prophesy. And I didn't sit back and do the count, but it might have been 12. Let me sit back and look and see if that was 12. Let me make sure. Let's not say it was 12 and it wasn't 12. Let's look and see. Let's say you had 6 under the hands of their father. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was a little bit more than that. But King David appointed these men to do this. Just like we know Yahushua appointed men to go preach in his name. It goes on to whomsoever I send, receive me. He said to do this to the service of the house of Elohim. Sit there and think about it. What does the temple need somebody playing psalms, psalteries, and harps for? What benefit will that do to a building? Because it wasn't about the building. It was to do this service to the people. Listen to what he say, right? He say, give gifts unto all men. And that's going to link up to something else too in Genesis chapter 4 in the law. Something I've been wanting to hit on for a very long time. Now he that ascended, what is it? But he also descended first into the lower parts of the Arats. He that descended is the same also that ascended afar above all Shamahim, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the Kadeshim, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach, till we all come into the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of Elohim, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Mashiach. That we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine, but by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Now, the purpose of this man saying that sent these men in there with these psalms and harps was to prophesy into the house of Elohim, to do service in the house of Elohim. And Yahuwah willing, on the Shabbat, we will delve into that further. But we can obviously see that when Paul say, I would rather sing with understanding, and he told these men to prophecy with these instruments, and we just read that prophecy is for those that believe, and not them that believe not, that was the purpose in the manifesting the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, that a man might receive understanding, that a man might be quickened to life everlasting, that he might turn from his sins and live. So hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. We'll stop it right there.